Let's go Eagles! Things are pretty heated behind the scenes, and I'm going to tell you everything that's going on. Picture this. The NFC East is on the verge of a major shakeup, and the Philadelphia Eagles may be in the perfect position to capitalize on it. We're talking about an unexpected quarterback change that could send shockwaves through the division, a potential running back who could be the perfect addition to Philadelphia's offense, and a draft day decision that could redefine the defensive line for years to come. I'm going to tell you everything right now, but before I go any further, I want to hear from you. Do you agree that Jalen Hurts should stay with the Eagles next season? If so, hit that like button hard. Man, Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in the game today, in my opinion. We need him to make it to the Super Bowl again. I truly believe that. You can comment like this: "Go Eagles! Let's go to the Super Bowl again." Well, there are so many topics that I don't even know where to start. We'll talk about Dak Prescott in a bit, but I think it's best to start with the draft. With just a few weeks left, the Eagles are doing their homework, and two names are making waves in the scouting room. First up, a running back from Texas, Jaden Blue. This guy is pure speed, running 4.28 to 4.29 in the 40-yard dash. Imagine pairing that kind of explosiveness with Saquon Barkley and A.J. Dillon. He's not just a speedster. He can line up as a receiver, has solid hands, and thrives in open space. The Eagles love versatility in their backfield, and while Blue isn't projected to be a top 2 back right away, he could be the perfect rotational piece to complement the power runners already on the roster. If Kevin Patullo's influence leads to more creative double-back sets, we could be looking at a completely revamped Eagles running attack in 2024. But let's shift to the other side of the ball, where things get even more intriguing. Enter Donovan Iru, the edge rusher out of Boston College who has all the tools to make an immediate impact in Philly. Last season, he put up 16.5 sacks, 20 quarterback hits, and 60 pressures. Those are elite numbers. His pass rush grade? A ridiculous 90.5. And when you watch his tape, it's obvious why. He's got power, bend, technique, everything you want in an edge rusher. The Eagles love building through the trenches, and with expiring contracts looming on the defensive line, the idea of grabbing a young, dominant edge rusher with the 32nd pick, or trading up a few spots to ensure they get him, makes a lot of sense. But now, let's talk about the real drama, the NFC East. If you thought things were chaotic in Dallas and New York before, just wait. The Giants? They've somehow managed to become the league's biggest punchline, and it's not even close. They brought in Russell Wilson as their new starting quarterback, with Jameis Winston backing him up. That's right. That's their plan to save the franchise. And according to insiders, free agents were literally advising their clients not to sign with the Giants because the situation is that bad. That tells you everything you need to know. Brian Daboll and GM Joe Schoen are in a make-or-break season, and the way things are shaping up, this could be their final year in New York. But hold on, it gets crazier. Over in Dallas, there's legitimate buzz about Dak Prescott being traded to the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, you heard that right. Apparently, discussions have already taken place, and if the Cowboys actually pull the trigger, it could signal the long-overdue reset that Dallas has been too stubborn to embrace. The problem? Jerry Jones doesn't know how to hit the reset button. Every year, the Cowboys act like they're 1 or 2 pieces away, handing out big contracts and making splashy moves, instead of realizing they're just treading water. If they do trade Dak, it could be the first sign that they're finally willing to build something from the ground up. But then again, this is the Cowboys we're talking about. Expect the unexpected. So here's the big question. Eagles fans, how does all of this impact Philly? If the Giants are imploding, if the Cowboys are finally considering blowing things up, and if the Eagles nail this draft, they could set themselves up as the dominant force in the division for years to come. The pieces are there. The front office is making moves. The coaching staff is evolving.
Now it's your turn. What do you think about all this? Should the Eagles take a shot on Jay Blue? Would Donovan Iru be the perfect pick at 32? And what about Dak Prescott? Would you rather see him stay in Dallas and keep the Cowboys stuck in mediocrity? Or do you want to see them hit the reset button? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. And just when you thought the NFC East couldn't get any wilder, there's more. Because while the Cowboys and Giants seem to be teetering on the edge of full-blown chaos, there's a quiet storm brewing in Washington. The Commanders have a new front office, a new coaching staff, and a new vision, and they're not afraid to shake things up. The latest reports suggest that they're aggressively shopping their first-round pick, looking for a deal that could land them a franchise quarterback. Could that mean moving up to snag one of the top guys in this year's draft? Absolutely. And if that happens, suddenly the Eagles are looking at a division where every single team except them is resetting at the quarterback position. That's an advantage that Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni cannot afford to waste. But let's talk about the Eagles' own draft strategy, because that's where things get really interesting. We already touched on Jay Blue and Donovan Iru, but the Eagles are also looking closely at another name, Sean Hampton, the cornerback out of Florida State. This guy has lockdown potential written all over him. He's big, physical, and has the kind of aggressive mentality that fits perfectly in an NFC East that's loaded with big-bodied receivers. The Eagles have been trying to find that long-term answer at corner opposite Darius Slay, and while they've made stopgap moves, Hampton could be the guy they've been searching for. If they take him in the second round, it wouldn't just be a great value pick. It would be a statement, a move that says, we're not just trying to compete in 2024, we're building a defense that can dominate for the next 5 years. And speaking of the defense, we have to talk about the front seven. The Eagles know that the key to their success has always been the trenches, and that's why there's a growing belief that they might double dip on pass rushers in this draft. Imagine grabbing Donovan Iru in the first round and then adding another disruptive force on day 2. Someone like Chris Collins out of Michigan, a high-motor defensive lineman who could play inside and outside. The idea would be to keep the defensive line fresh, rotating elite talent to make sure opposing quarterbacks never have a clean pocket. If the Eagles go this route, they're sending a clear message. They're coming after quarterbacks, and they're not stopping. But let's pivot back to the NFC East for a second, because there's something that needs to be said. This is the moment where the Eagles can officially bury their division rivals. The Cowboys are crumbling under the weight of their own expectations, the Giants are a dumpster fire, and the Commanders are still figuring things out. If the Eagles execute this offseason the right way, they won't just win the division in 2024, they'll set themselves up to dominate it for the next 3 to 5 years. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, Jalen Hurts. Because everything we just talked about, none of it matters if Hurts doesn't take that next step. The front office is doing its job. The roster is being built for sustained success. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to number one. Can he elevate his game? Can he make the throws that need to be made in the biggest moments? We've seen flashes of it, but if Hurts goes from very good to elite, the Eagles become a legitimate Super Bowl powerhouse. No more talk about just winning the NFC East. No more maybe conversations. If Hurts makes that leap, the Eagles can run through the conference and cement themselves as one of the best teams in the NFL. So, Eagles fans, this is where I turn it over to you. If you were in Howie Roseman's shoes, what's your next move? Do you take the explosive running back, the dominant edge rusher, or the lockdown corner? Do you think the Cowboys are really going to trade Dak Prescott? And most importantly, are the Eagles about to go on a run that cements them as the kings of the NFC East for the foreseeable future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get this conversation going. Eagles fans, this is it, the perfect storm for Philly to take over the NFC East. The Cowboys are flirting with a Dak Prescott trade, the Giants are a disaster with Russell Wilson, and Washington is still rebuilding. Meanwhile, the Eagles have a golden opportunity in the draft. The pieces are coming together, but it all comes down to Jalen Hurts. If he takes that next step, the Eagles aren't just division favorites, they're Super Bowl contenders.